You, the jurors, have to just reach your decision based on the evidence you've heard in court. This was a case where there was no one piece of what I'd say is kind of killer evidence. There was no one item that definitively proved Erin Patterson's guilt, but there were lots of little things. And added together, it was like a sort of jigsaw. When you put all the pieces together, you get a clear picture. I think what sealed it for me really was seeing her on the stand. In any trial, the prosecution goes first. You hear their evidence. It took several weeks. And then it came time for the defence's evidence. And I was kind of thinking, well, what is the defense case? How can she explain lying about having cancer? How does she explain buying a food dehydrator, going to those places where the mushrooms were growing, looking them up on the iNaturalist website, drying out the mushrooms, making individual beef Wellingtons rather than one big one? What about, her not getting as sick as her guests? How is she going to explain all of that? And I eventually realised the only person who could speak to any parts of her case was Erin herself, and therefore that it was going to be inevitable that she would have to go into the witness box. And I think she spent 8 or 9 days there. The first sort of 3 or 4 of them saw her being kind of cross-examined by her counsel, Colin Mandy, for the defence. She looked quite comfortable. In fact, she came across quite well. But as soon as the prosecutor, Nanette Rogers, got her on the stand and started really kind of picking apart some of the things she said, interrogating her, asking her to explain things that didn't quite add up, we saw Erin sort of being caught up in I suppose what I'd call a web of lies.